Dr. Subhas Mukherjee never got recognition in his lifetime. In the year 1978, on the month of July 25, Dr. Patric Christopher Steptoe, Dr. Robert Geoffrey Edwards, and Jean Marian Purdy, a British nurse, got recognition for pioneering the first in vitro fertilization experiment (IVF) in England. The name of the baby was given Louise Joy Brown. Just 67 days later, on October 3, 1978, Dr. Subhash Mukherjee at Kolkata in India got success for India and Asia's first test tube baby or in vitro fertilization (IVF). But, instead of recognition, he got insulted and harassed. He was never given recognition by his workplace, instead, he was given a kind of solitary confinement in society as well. The first part of the story. June 19, 1981. The story was almost 40 years ago. Teacher Mrs. Namita Mukherjee was returning from her school. She lived with her doctor husband in a 6-story flat on Southern Avenue in Kolkata. But, Mrs. Namita was not at all ready for what she saw after opening the door of the flat. Her husband's body hanging from the ceiling. She got a suicide note. "I can't wait to die of a heart attack," it said. Who was that doctor? Let us present the description. A silent revolution took place in Bengal some 40 years ago. The mastermind of that revolution was a doctor named Dr. Subhas Mukherjee. He is the father of India and Asia's first test tube baby or IVF in vitro fertilization. He was born on January 17, 1931, in the Hazaribagh district of Jharkhand. He spent his student life at the Scottish Church College of Kolkata. He later obtained his MBBS degree from Calcutta National Medical College in 1955. In the same year, he obtained an honorary degree in physiology from Calcutta University. He obtained his first PhD degree in reproductive physiology in 1958 from Rajabazar Science College, Kolkata. After that, he received his second PhD degree in 1967 by discovering a new method of measuring luteinizing hormone from the University of Edinburgh, UK. He then joined the Nilratan Sarkar Medical College in Calcutta as a professor. The research on the test tube baby was in full swing in various laboratories around the world at that time. Dr. Mukherjee did not have any sophisticated equipment or a standard laboratory. It was just talent and indomitable zeal to discover something new. He was assisted by cryobiologist Dr. Sunat Mukherjee and gynecologist Dr. Saroj Kanti Bhattacharya. Subhas Mukherjee gradually built the laboratory at Nilratan Sarkar Medical College and Hospital for long 9 years from 1967 to 1976. He always used to stay there addicted to creating a groundbreaking discovery. Dr. Subhash Mukherjee was a devoted researcher who turned his flat into a laboratory. He ignored his greed for private practice easily. He has given up the eternal fascination with child happiness by thinking that it could disrupt his research. A few days later, he was acquainted with an Agarwal couple of an aristocratic Marwari family. They were still childless 12 years after their marriage. However, after a few days of treatment, Mrs. Bella Agarwal could not get pregnant. On examination, Dr. Subhas Mukherjee saw that both the fallopian tubes of Mrs. Bella Agarwal were blocked. Then he wanted to apply his new research, the test tube baby, to the couple. On October 3, 1978, Dr. Subhas Mukherjee got success just before the Durga Puja. Kanupriya Agarwal was born. Her name was given Durga. Kanupriya Agarwal Durga was the first test tube-born child in Asia and India and the second in the world. The first test tube baby Louise Joy Brown was born in England just 67 days ago, the 25th of July 1978. In comparison to the modern types of equipment in England, there was a simple refrigerator in Kolkata, a laboratory with very low space. Dr. Subhas Mukherjee sent the complete research paper to the International Hormone Steroid Congress in New Delhi and also to the Indian Journal of Cryogenics. Then there was a commotion in the medical department of India. Just after that situation, the humiliation of Dr. Subhas Mukherjee has been started. He did not even get the slightest recognition of his work from his workplace, and he was given a kind of solitary confinement in society as if he has done a criminal offense. His crime was why the media got to know of that big news before the ruling Left Front government led by Jyoti Basu in West Bengal. His crime was, how can a Bengali child make such a landmark success before the scientists of such advanced and developed countries, even the American scientists? The crime was, he did the research only with his mind, concentration, and did not recognize the terrible jealousy of his colleagues and government officials. So every effort was made to thwart his research. Although Robert Edwards won the Nobel Prize for his discovery in 2010, on the other hand, Dr. Subhash Mukherjee had to face neglect, insult, and humiliation in his own country after his discovery. There were allegations against Dr. Subhash Mukherjee, why he told the media about his research without informing the department officials. How did he do this with little equipment in his small laboratory, where others could not do it with much modern equipment? The Left Front government was the ruling party in West Bengal at that time. On November 18, 1978, the government formed an expert committee under the Medical Association. At the top of the committee, there was a radio physicist, and the members included a gynecologist, a psychologist, a physicist, and a neurologist. These members had no idea about modern reproductive technology. The expert committee practically insulted and harassed Dr. Mukherjee by asking many absurd questions. At last, the committee ruled that everything that Dr. Subhas Mukherjee claims are bogus. After that, an invitation came to Dr. Mukherjee to address an international conference in Japan. Despite being invited to address the international conference and present his work at Kyoto in Japan, Dr. Mukherjee could not appear due to tremendous resistance from the government. His passport was confiscated. He was transferred to Bankura Sanmalani Medical College of West Bengal so that he could not conduct his research work. Despite many requests from Dr. Mukherjee, the health administrators of that time did not revoke the order. It was a kind of social ostracism, professional jealousy, and bureaucratic neglect in the presentation of his stunning medical feat. The Communist Party government led by Jyoti Basu showed their bureaucratic mentality and compelled Dr. Mukherjee into deep frustration. The health administrators at that time followed the orders of the top-level communist leaders. It shows that they are fully responsible for the suicide of Dr. Subhas Mukherjee. Although he had to join Bankura Sanmalani Medical College, he used to return home to Kolkata on the weekends and continued his research in the small laboratory of the hospital. He suffered a heart attack while he was in Bankura. He was then brought back to R.G. Kar Medical College, Kolkata. But the biggest insult to him happened just a few days before his suicide. In the second week of June 1981, he was transferred to the Institute of Ophthalmology, as a professor of electrophysiology. Not only that, all opportunities for his research were strategically taken away. He had to climb up the stairs to the 4th floor every day. Who knows better than doctors how horrible it can be for a heart patient? But his PhD degree and research were completely different. The talented scientist committed suicide on June 19 without being able to bear the burden of this insult. On June 19, 1981, his wife Namita Mukherjee returned home from her work and saw that her husband had made the ultimate decision to leave all research. After this incident, Mrs. Namita Mukherjee became paralyzed and spent the rest of her life in bed. Ram Pada Chowdhury wrote a novel about the short life of Dr. Subhas Mukherjee called Abhimanyu. Later, Tapan Sinha, one of the most prominent Indian film directors, made a film, Ek Doctor Ki Maut, Death of a Doctor, based on the story of Dr. Subhash Mukherjee. Pankaj Kapoor and Shabana Azmi were the main actor and actresses in the film, Ek Doctor Ki Maut. The second part of the story. This part is a little different. On August 16, 1986, another test tube baby, Harshvardhan Reddy, was born as a result of the research of another scientist, T.C. Anand Kumar of India. The government of India recognized Anand Kumar's success in creating India's first test tube baby. But that all changed in 1997 when Anand Kumar went to Kolkata to attend a science conference. Dr. Subhas Mukherjee's note was handed over to him. Dr. Anand Kumar examined them and talked to Durga's Kanupriya Agarwal parents. He realized that Dr. Mukherjee was the first successful person to conduct research on test tube babies in India. Then Dr. Anand Kumar confronted the government again. A special committee of 12 members was formed in 2002. Finally, in the year 2003, Dr. Subhash Mukherjee's research was recognized. Breaking the silence, Durga Kanupriya Agarwal also came out publicly on her 25th birthday. Proudly said, "I am not the winner of any game. I am proud to be a living recognition of the hard work of a short-lived genius." She also said that her parents were severely abused after her birth. She is currently working in Gurgaon, Delhi. Dr. Subhash Mukherjee's research ultimately finds seeing the face of the light after a long period of neglect and humiliation. Thanks to the dedicated efforts of Anand Kumar, Dr. Subhash Mukherjee was officially recognized as India's first successful test tube baby researcher. Dr. Anand Kumar said, "Dr. Subhash must be credited for inventing the first successful test tube baby in India. The invention of the others is much smaller than his invention." In his writings, Dr. Anand Kumar sharply criticized the inquiry committee formed in 1978. Dr. Anand Kumar said, "None of the four-member inquiry committee had any idea about modern reproductive research, and as a consequence of that Dr. Subhash Mukherjee had to suffer." The Economic Times published on 8 October 2018 focused on the 40th birth anniversary celebration of India's first test tube baby in Pune. Professor Dr. Sunit Kumar Mukherjee also joined Durga or Kanupriya Agarwal's birthday celebration at the Lions Club International EMA Hall. It was cryobiologist Dr. Sunit Kumar Mukherjee who worked with Dr. Subhas Mukherjee in the year 1978. At present, Dr. Subhash Mukherjee Memorial Reproductive Biology Research Center has been set up in Kolkata. The dormitory of his workplace, Nilratan Sarkar Medical College, has been named after this great scientist 40 years after his death, with a bust sitting there. A memorial plaque has been erected outside the room where he used to conduct his research. His statue has also been erected in the remote town of Hazaribagh. Even today, many couples hear the call of their child in the ways shown by Dr. Mukherjee. But how much pain such a person has had to go through is probably beyond our imagination. In fact, scientists survive in their work. In this connection, it should be noted that in 2010, the Royal Society of Medicine in England published the Dictionary of Medical Biography. The 1100 landmark discoveries in the field of medicine were focused there. There are only 3 names from Kolkata: Sir Ronald Ross, Upendranath Brahmachari, and Dr. Subhas Mukherjee. Dr. Robert Edwards won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2010 as the creator of the test tube baby. Maybe, Dr. Subhas Mukherjee could have been his partner in this award. But boundless jealousy, the feudal attitude of some government officials, and constant abuse of power have twisted the huge talents of an enlightened man, breaking the backbone of his conviction. Bigumbrella pays its respect to the great soul of India Dr. Subhas Mukherjee.